This is where the triad turns.
We're following breaking news tonight.
To understand, to look ahead.
Rain is moving in today.
To know what's happening. WXII 12 News, where more people turn to stay connected. Investigations that get results.
We've uncovered new information.
Breaking news coverage.
Very active scene.
And the triad's most trusted forecast.
Severe thunderstorms are in the forecast.
Most watched, day and night.
Breaking news out of Guilford County.
This is WXII 12 News. From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
A racing great killed. Greg Biffle and his family among several killed in a plane crash. The late-breaking details on the active investigation.
Plus, deadly shooting. An off-duty police officer killed in the Piedmont. 2 others rushed to the hospital with injuries. What investigators say happened.
And it's a weather impact day. We're tracking rain moving through the Piedmont. What you should expect tonight and tomorrow.
We begin today with breaking news both here in the Piedmont and in Statesville.
We have team coverage tonight at 5. We'll check in with our John Johnson and Sarah Sowers in just a moment. But we begin first with WXII 12's Chris Peterson.
He joins us live from Statesville Regional Airport. And Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, what we know right now is that we don't know what led to this crash, this deadly crash, but what we do know is that a business jet owned by retired NASCAR driver and licensed pilot Greg Biffle crashed shortly after takeoff here from the Statesville Regional Airport. We are told that Biffle and 6 other passengers were on board the plane at the time. Flight tracking data shows the jet took off at 10:06 this morning. Within minutes, the jet turned around and attempted to land, but crashed at the east end of the runway. The FAA has confirmed that 7 people were on the Cessna C550. State Highway Patrol also just confirmed that information and said they have to wait for final identifications from the medical examiner.
It is believed of those 7 occupants that Mr. Greg Biffle, 55 years old, and his immediate family were on board the aircraft. The reason why we can't give you a definitive list of those 7 occupants is because of the post-crash fire.
The NTSB says it is sending a team here to Statesville and should arrive sometime this evening. Greg Biffle retired from NASCAR in 2016. He won 19 races at the Cup level and finished runner-up in the championship in 2005. But more recently, Biffle was praised for his efforts during Hurricane Helene. He flew his personal helicopter and assisted people who were stranded after the storm and delivering much-needed supplies to areas unreachable due to washed-out roads. In Statesville, I'm Chris Peterson, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Chris. Greg Biffle had a storied career in NASCAR. The Sports lists him as one of its 75 greatest drivers in NASCAR history. WXII 12 Sports Director John Johnson joining us in the studio to continue our team coverage now. John.
Yeah, you heard Chris talk about the things that he did off the racetrack, but Greg Biffle spent decades racing on the track as well. He burst onto the NASCAR scene in 1998, earning the Craftsman Truck Series Rookie of the Year. And then just 2 years later, in 2000, he'd bring home his first Truck Series championship. Now, that success also carried over into the Busch Series, which is now known as the Xfinity Series, earning Rookie of the Year in 2001 and then winning the championship in 2002. Now, with that title, he became the first driver in history to win a championship in both the Busch Series and the Truck Series. It's a feat only 2 other drivers have achieved in NASCAR history. It's one of those things that will ever live with Greg Biffle, guys. It's truly a sad story, but his racing career will live long into our history, guys.
Yeah, John, absolutely heartbreaking. And former driver and current TV analyst Clint Boyer is sharing his thoughts on today's terrible news. He and Biffle were competitors in the Cup Series from 2006 to 2016. But he tells WXII, quote, "We shared the track together, shared our love of flying together, a lot of memories and a lot of laughs together over the years. He was an unbelievable talent. He could drive the wheels of a race car, could build absolutely anything with his bare hands, and he found a lot of joy in using his resources to help people in need. As of recently, really was one of the good ones. As a family man myself, I'm heartbroken at the loss of him and his family. It just doesn't make sense." North Carolina Congressman Richard Hudson among those paying tribute to Biffle. In a statement released today, he said in part, quote, "Greg was a great NASCAR champion who thrilled millions of fans. He was an extraordinary person as well and will be remembered for his service to others as much as for his fearlessness on the track." You can read the full statement as well as any other tributes that come into our newsroom. We're going to post those on the WXII 12 News app and our website, as well as any updates to this investigation. All right, we're following breaking news on the campus of North Forsyth High School right now. This is a live look at the campus as we have several crews. They are on the scene, and all we know right now is there is a heavy police presence. We have people from the Winston-Salem Police Department there, as well as the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. EMS is responding, and we're expecting an update from the Sheriff's Office shortly to find out the details about what's taking place there at North Forsyth's campus. For now, we have crews spread all across the campus in different areas. And first, we're going to check in with our Wanye Reese, who is on the phone for us right now. Wanye, you are on the campus, so what are you seeing?
Hey, Lindsay, we're continuing to see a very heavy law enforcement presence out here. We're seeing a lot of people passing by, slowing down, just asking, hey, what's going on? And I think that's the question that a lot of parents have right now. And we're also asking that question because we're not getting that information just yet. We got here around noon, my photographer and I, and we saw that there were some people who were outside of the gates of North Forsyth High School going back and forth with the police officers who were on the scene. About 15 to 20 minutes after that, as we were leaving the scene, I saw those same people on the ground crying once again. We don't know exactly what's going on or what's happening exactly, but it definitely was very heartbreaking to see those parents very upset.
Once again, if you are just joining us, these are live pictures from the Jewel Coliseum. This is where students from North Forsyth High School have been bused or in the process of being bused to reunite with their parents. Parents in long lines there waiting to see their students. We can only imagine how emotional these moments will be for parents. It doesn't matter if you've texted with your student, with your daughter, with your son since this happened. You want to see them, you want to hug them, and as you mentioned, Lindsay, you want to take them home. For those of you just joining us, to recap what happened, at around 11 o'clock this morning, there was a call. A call came out to North Forsyth High School. What we know confirmed right now, an altercation between two students leaves one student dead.
But there is a heavy sense of relief here. We're still seeing some parents hop in this very, very long line, but we are seeing cars with parents and their students beginning to head out of here and head home and begin processing what happened today. Kenny, I'm going to send it back to you now.
Okay, Kelly, thank you very much. And as you were describing some of those images, I was struck by what I saw from the two people to my right, walking arm in arm, reunified. I presume mother-daughter, is that correct? Mom, how can you describe what it's like to see your girl on a day like this?
It means a lot. I think we take for granted life and how seeing someone off to school may be the last time you see them. Yeah. So it's just a reminder to be thankful for your family and have those, strategies to get in contact with someone if there's an emergency.
And I realized I haven't asked for your names. Apologies. May I have your first and last names?
I'm Ebony Baring.
Ebony?
And I'm Kennedy Jenkins.
Okay. Kennedy, how are you doing tonight? Did you know the person who died today?
Yes, I went to middle school with Cameron, so we have been friends for a while. And I also knew the other person involved. They were really good people, so it's really heartbreaking to see what unfolded today.
What grade are you in at North?
I'm in 11th grade.
You're an 11th grader, okay. It doesn't seem like it's fully hit you yet, what has occurred. Would you describe the person who died today as a friend?
Yeah, he was a friend to everybody. He had a good heart and a good soul. So it's kind of sad to see what happened today, but I pray for him, his family, and everybody else that was involved.
A chunk of me is not here because of my nephew being gone. I didn't think that yesterday I was going to get a call and yesterday was going to end up like it did.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I know it's hard.
But I hope this is an eye-opener for these young men out here, for these young boys out here. Y'all open up y'all eyes.
That breaking news out of Rockingham County in Eden, where we are following a deadly crash that took place at the intersection of Church and Carroll Streets.
Officials are describing this as a major incident. Let's put this on the maps for you again. As Lindsay just mentioned, it's at the intersection of Church and Carroll, and that's also where we find our Joshua Davis live this afternoon. Joshua, we just learned moments ago that a city vehicle was involved in this deadly crash. What else do we know at this hour?
You've been speaking with bystanders at this scene. What have they been telling you?
Joshua, good evening. We have learned some heartbreaking new details about tonight's accident here in Eden involving multiple fatalities and hospitalizations as well. We'll share with you in just a moment what we've heard with some people who were directly involved today, either themselves or with family members.
Mountain communities saw rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches an hour for an average of 20 inches of rain from September 25th through the 27th. The Yancey County town of Busick got the most, a whopping 30+ inches of rain. To put this more into context, 30 inches on 1 square mile equals more than 520 million gallons of water. Totals like these are believed to have less than a 1 in 1,000 chance of occurring in any given year. That incredible wall of water led to record-breaking flooding. The storm damaged an estimated 6,000 miles of roads. To put that more into perspective, that's about the distance from New York to LA twice. More than 1,000 bridges and culverts were also damaged. It caused 1,400 landslides. Asheville broke its record for 2-day rainfall at just under 10 inches. Almost all of Biltmore Village and the River Arts District were flooded, and the city was isolated with no power or cell service. The French Broad River in Asheville rose to nearly 25 feet, breaking a record from 1901. The almost 20 inches that fell upstream of Chimney Rock led to floodwater that washed away half of the village, along with 50% of the businesses near the Broad River, which crested at its highest point ever. Bridges were completely washed out, cutting off communities. As we approach another hurricane season, the wind, rain, and possible tornadoes from an impending storm will set everyone's nerves on edge. Know that the WXII 12 weather team is here for you, giving you critical forecast information to keep you safe this tropical season.
I'm going to stop using the word catastrophic because that doesn't describe what's about to happen to you guys.
A 20-foot wall of water came crashing through the gorge.
Really thought I was just going to drown in my own house.
We were basically trapped on a little island.
There was people dying and there was nothing that we were able to do about it.
No part of my life is the same as it was before Helene.
There's more bears. Well, there's no people. I mean, you're talking about 60 homes. That
used to be over there.
Yeah.
And now everybody is somewhere else. So you don't see your friends every day. You don't get up and go to work anymore. And the biggest thing is we all want to just go home.
This is Western North Carolina as it stands today. 12 months have passed since Helene began its destructive path through the mountains. Yet the lives of our western neighbors are still in pieces. Many are still unhoused, still unemployed, and still unable to get basic needs like water and power. Their recovery will take years. North Carolinians are strong. They won't ask for your help, but they cannot do this alone. In the next hour, we will meet the survivors still fighting and the volunteers working to help them. The task before them is simple. They want to go home. Yet the path to get there is so monumental that many are no closer than they were a year ago. These are their stories.
And when I walked up on the porch, he had that look in his face, and he said, "You haven't heard." I said, "Nope." That was tough. He was telling me that this person was gone and that person was gone and everybody was gone. And my parents' home and my great aunt and uncle just around the corner were totally taken. My grandmother's home got washed down into my aunt and uncle's home. 11 immediate family members taken that day.
Through their strength and their kindness, the folks we've met prove that North Carolina's greatest resource is its people. A long road lies ahead for them to rebuild their homes and their lives. We can help lay the foundation for that journey. On your screen is a QR code that you can scan with your phone. Here and on our website is a list of verified groups that could really use donations and volunteers. Today, you can be a part of the story by giving these folks the tools not just to survive, but to thrive in the world that's emerged after Helene.
Today marks 5 months since Hurricane Helene swept through the U.S., bringing deadly flooding and devastating several communities, especially in western North Carolina.
Now, how the residents recover is still up for debate within communities and the government. In this morning's 12 Investigates, I'm looking into the state and federal response.
FEMA has not helped us.
Time and time again,
we didn't hear from anybody.
We have heard the same message from western North Carolina residents.
I'd like to see more military crews, bigger equipment.
And volunteers.
There's no government out here. FEMA has abandoned the people out here, basically.
They are looking for government assistance to recover from Helene. The storm caused direct damages of $44.4 billion per a January estimate by the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management, plus $9.4 billion in indirect or induced economic losses, and now $5.8 billion needed for strengthening and mitigation. That totals $59.6 billion. The report estimates just about $4.5 billion taxpayer dollars have been directed to aid western North Carolina communities in the wake of Helene. This includes $1 billion in federal direct assistance and grants and $1.1 billion appropriated by the North Carolina General Assembly. But hundreds of millions of that remain unspent. For example, $3 million allocated toward the federal Rapid Unsheltered Survivor Housing Program. Not a single expenditure as of January to provide emergency shelter, rehousing, or rental assistance. Same for the $10 million appropriated for the State Disaster Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, despite having 20,000 people pre-register for food help back in October. And for the more than 400,000 uninsured people in impacted counties that the Division of Mental Health estimates need coordinated care to meet behavioral needs, the balance remains $25 million, no expenditures. Obviously, if you're representing that county, you are a resident there. So tell me about your experience during this storm.
Took out a 2-car garage and pushed a surge of about 4 feet of water through my house.
I wanted to get the perspective of Dudley Green, who represents District 85 in the North Carolina General Assembly.
It's Avery, Mitchell, Yancey, and most of McDowell County.
From his experience on the ground and hearing from constituents, they're on the same page about FEMA frustrations.
It's hard to get an understanding of what is available and how to go about applying for it. And if you are turned down, why were you turned down? But there was no effort seemingly on FEMA's part to hook those people up with those kind of resources.
Green's home is one of more than 175,000 where damages were reported, according to that January report from the state. Not to mention more than 4,000 people self-reported their homes were destroyed, all just in western North Carolina.
Most of the roads that you see built out were built out by volunteers.
Nearly 200 roads are also still closed. And seeing the response so far, survivors say they're not feeling optimistic.
None of this has been touched, and it will be years before this gets touched. There's anger, there's sadness that our livelihoods are all changing, and not just us, but for everybody.
Now, I tried getting answers on why money is not being spent and a timeline for those business owners and families. I contacted the State Treasurer's Office, the Office of State Budget and Management, who put out that report, FEMA's Region 4 leaders who oversee North Carolina, as well as Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, who is now on a new FEMA Oversight Council. None would do an interview. The Treasurer's Office did say this week local governments experienced such loss and damage in Helene, completing the necessary documentation for loans is still difficult difficult for them, and that was compounded, it says, by recent winter storm closures. You can find my previous coverage in Western North Carolina and more information for small business owners on our website, WXII12.com.
New tonight in 12 Investigates, the Forsyth County Courthouse is about 3 months away from a big deadline. E-courts will launch for the county July 21st. This provides the public with online access to court records, but will court staff get the job done in time? Some have worried the jury administration issues that plagued the courthouse last fall would impact the county's transition to e-courts. Clerk of Superior Court Denise Hines says getting to July 21st will certainly come with many challenges.
It is absolutely my goal to meet the July 21st deadline.
What more needs to happen for you to do that?
Additional staff.
More staff to help this courthouse go from paper to digital, a major convenience for all Forsyth County residents.
I think that is wonderful. Wonderful, especially for older people.
If that July 21st deadline is met, the public will be able to log in online and get the court records they want. No need to visit in person. However, that's if the courthouse can get through the work this transition requires.
It's a really in-depth, planned, detailed, guided transition. So in the end, we know it's going to be beneficial. It's quite taxing now.
Hines says from beginning to end, this transition will take 20 weeks. In that time, 103 staff members will help digitize decades of documents. They have to upload all active and closed Forsyth County cases from January 2010 until present day.
All of these documents have to go in? Yeah, that's just one of the files.
Any cases before 2010 that are still pending today will also get processed. At least 15 years of cases, some with more paperwork than others, have to be sent through scanners like these, page by page, one by one.
I can say we're at the point that we're getting a little bit like I can't do anything else.
Exhausted already at only week 5 out of 20. Trying to stay afloat, Hines has already requested overtime funding from the state.
There is a point where we get temporary staff and overtime in order to meet the transition.
That request for more, similar to her plea 6 months ago. She echoes what she told 12 Investigates during the October saga that left 100 jurors wandering the courthouse with no one to help.
I've been stating for a while that the demands on the Office of the Clerk of Court are greater than our resources. That has not changed.
What will create change is e-courts. Hines believes the general public,
yes, that will save me time,
won't be the only ones to benefit. Law enforcement, clerks, judges, and lawyers will too.
It's about time that we got it too. Very, very helpful because court is very stressful. People are all over the place. You don't know what's going on, so the online system will help a lot.
But with just a few months to go, will Forsyth County get everything scanned into that online system? Only time can tell.
It's going to be a hard transition for us. Just the bottom line, it's going to be a very difficult transition for us.
Several Triad colleges have reached out to the clerk's office offering help from interns, but it's tricky though because they can only do so much since they're not state employees. Once e-courts is launched, it could help with that staffing issue in the clerk's office. More clerks will be free for other duties since fewer people will need to visit in person to get that assistance. We will see though come July 21st.
All right, busy in the Weather Center, of course. You know, earlier today, one of the things that came out of that hurricane advisory, and both of us, we were like, oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
The size of the storm.
Massive. I don't know that I've seen a storm quite so big.
800 miles across, so think about that. That's several states across. That's how large it is. And in fact, those tropical storm force winds, they're out over 250 miles from the center. So just that radius alone, they are saying could be close to an Atlantic basin record. So that is impressive to me, something I've never seen wording on one of those statements, unusually large, come out of the Hurricane Center. Of course, conditions along the coast, they are getting worse at this hour, and we're anticipating to see those peak winds and waves. Well, they'll come across later. Look at the storm here. You can see that 860 miles. That was the latest one that we measured the distance. And notice the clouds, Dave, already there in the Triad.
Yeah, you get some of that outflow out from that storm. You get almost like an exhaust, and it pushes some of those clouds across central, south, and North Carolina at this moment, too.
There's what you were saying. It may become a Category 3. Doesn't matter, though, because with this one, it's not intensity, it's size.
But
a major update in the standoff situation. We can confirm that officers have arrested a person in this situation. We do want to show you all some video. We were able to capture that arrest around 5:20 this afternoon. So keep in mind that we've been out here since 3:30, but neighbors tell us that this has been going on for hours. So definitely a major situation. Things have calmed down to an extent. Again, it was a very active scene when we first got here. We saw 2 drones.
In 12 Investigates, the man who we saw get arrested after a standoff yesterday is accused of killing a Winston-Salem father. 12 Investigates has learned that he has an extensive criminal history. Our Sarah Sowers was the only reporter in court today as this suspect made his first court appearance. She has details tonight on what happened during that hearing.
A thundering boom as law enforcement entered the Gilmer Avenue home where Zapata Padilla was located. It's unclear what brought him to Winston-Salem, but we do know when authorities arrived, he refused their commands and attempted to escape through the attic of the home where he was staying in, but ended up falling through the ceiling of a connected home where a family, including children, were present.
He was the tip of the spear, a guy who always led from the front.
He had that rare gift of making life feel more vibrant and full of possibility.
I'll miss you, buddy. You were my protector for so many years, and I will forever love you for that.
Mike stood the watch for 25 years. He stood the watch even though he would have rather been home with his family. Rest easy, my friend. We have the watch.
Officer Helene, you have served your country, your community, and family with honor.
I'm Sarah Sowers, and I've been looking into tips since November from our viewers who say they've paid thousands of dollars in deposits to Triad Carports, a local company who builds metal structures and garages, but they say they don't know when their work was set to begin.
Yeah, it's just like you start wondering, how long is this going to continue without somebody doing something about it?
On Sunday, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office tells us that they arrested the owner of the company for 25 felony counts relating to obtaining property under false pretenses. Today at 5 on WXII 12 News, you'll hear directly from some of those folks who say their money was lost and their trust was shattered.
In 12 Investigates, a building contractor arrested. Investigators say the owner of Triad Carports defrauded more than 25 people.
And tonight we're hearing from customers who pay thousands for jobs that were never done. Our Sarah Sowers has been looking into the unfulfilled promises for months now. She joins us in studio, and Sarah, turned out we actually learned this week investigators were doing the exact same.
That's right, Devontae. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office has charged the owner of Triad Carports and Metal Structures. Jesse Black faces 25 felony counts related to obtaining property under false pretenses. The victims I've spoken to say this has been a long time coming.
We're still trying to find Jesse.
Back in late 2023, Vlahos and her husband decided to hire Triad Carports and the company's owner, Jesse Black, to complete a 50 by 70 foot storage garage in Winston-Salem after receiving what they thought was a good estimate. The deposit for the project was more than $38,000, and their understanding was work would start after they sent a check and a permit was received to build the structure. But after waiting a few months, that didn't happen.
But since then, he's just repeatedly given us excuses, at certain times not getting back to us at all.
She says Black gave them a list of excuses ranging from health complications to backup timing to pour concrete at the build site. She says she gave him benefit of the doubt, but when she realized the project might not be done, she asked for her deposit back to cancel the job.
He said that he couldn't give us our money back because he had already built the rafters.
After several months of waiting, Vlahos says she had enough and filed a lawsuit in April of 2024.
At this point, we don't even want him to build our building anymore. You just cannot trust anybody like this. We don't even know what kind of quality building we'll be getting at this point, and we're just completely done with all of this.
And Zoe Vlahos is not alone. 12 Investigates spoke with 2 other women who say Triad Carports never completed their jobs.
I'm going to scream it from the rooftops, you know, like, stay away, buyer beware.
Louisa Blaylock said she started working with Triad Carports in the end of May last year for the installation of her 30 by 50 garage.
You call the company, they don't answer the phone, they call you back like weeks later, days later, and it's just excuse after excuse.
She got a quote for the nearly $26,000 project on May 30th, and we're told that if they paid a $12,000 deposit, concrete would be poured within 12 weeks.
3 months comes, and we're still not scheduled for concrete.
That's when she decided to take matters into her own hands and got the concrete done on her own dime. That was back in December. Since then, she was able to get her deposit back from Triad Carports, but only after threatening legal action. Several other Triad clients reached out to WXII with their own stories of delays and frustration over their jobs not being completed. Leslie Pupo, who lives in Salisbury, spoke with us 6 months after she gave a deposit to the company and never got word about when her project would start.
They can't even do our job from 5 months ago. How are they in good conscience taking money from people now? I mean, what are they telling people? Like, well, you know, you'll have it for Christmas next year?
She got her full deposit of $6,995 back, but says her experience was frustrating.
This is no way to run a business. I mean, you have to know how many jobs you have in the queue and approximately how long it's going to take for each one. I said, are we talking a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And she said, well, I can't give you that.
Pupo says the company has blamed illness, rain, contractor delays, and even Hurricane Helene. 12 Investigates reviewed a letter sent by the company to clients back in November, revealing issues with credit card processing of payments and delays in pouring concrete. The owner of the company, Jesse Black, told 12 Investigates the same thing over the phone. Black agreed to do an interview with us on multiple occasions, but says due to being sick and, quote, on the move, we could not sit down with him, in person or through Zoom. Instead, he sent a 2-page statement saying, in part, quote, I know that it is not being done in the time we initially told these customers, but we are in no way, shape, or form a scam. He goes on to say, quote, we do not take customers' money and run with it. Since all of this started in April, we have put out so many buildings and pads. And he is adamant that the company is doing, quote, everything in our power to get back on track with these orders.
We were unaware that there were others out there that were having issues like we were. We just hope that we can resolve this matter, get our money back, and we certainly hope the rest for everyone else.
We reached out to Black for comment since he was arrested and bailed out. He sent us a statement denying those allegations presented by investigators. As of February, the company was still posting on their Facebook page to gather more customers, despite not finishing other jobs last year. You can read the full statement from Triad Carports on our website at WXII12.com. I'm Sarah Sowers for WXII 12 News.
In the midst of its budget crisis, change has been the word of the week for Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools after cutting more than 200 employees. With several big meetings coming up next week, more change could be on the horizon. The district had a transition day on Monday to give schools time to reorganize and shift staff after more than 200 employees lost their jobs and others were placed in new positions. Among those impacted, assistant principals. More than 40 were reassigned to new schools. These moves mark a change felt by both staff and students. Interim Superintendent Kathy Moore acknowledged in an interview Wednesday the toll it's all taken.
I think what I'm hearing from folks is that they're settling in, they're making that transition. Everyone is still feeling the impact of all the decisions that have been made. I think it's going to take a while to get back to feeling comfortable with where you are.
More change could be on the way. Moore says the district is considering further non-personnel cuts, mostly impacting central office. In the spring, the district made $45 million in non-personnel cuts for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Factoring in the $18 million saved through the recent reduction in force, the district has saved about $63 million. How much more needs to be saved?
So we are working on the budget resolution now. So I'll have a better answer for that in a couple of weeks.
On Monday, the school board will meet with state lawmakers from the Forsyth County delegation during a public meeting. They're set to discuss potential ways the state could help the district with its financial troubles. In July, one of those lawmakers, Donnie Lambeth, indicated to WXII in a statement that there would be no opportunity to provide financial assistance because the General Assembly had completed its budget and had adjourned. District leaders will be hoping for a change in posture on Monday.
I have hope for the conversation on Monday to create understanding and to begin to establish some sort of options or platform or dialogue to understand what kind of support could be provided. But first, we have to start with really an understanding of the problem.
Monday morning's meeting will be followed by a regular school board meeting on Tuesday. We'll be bringing you coverage of those, but for now, you can find all of our reporting about the district's budget crisis right now by visiting WXII12.com. Helping you get the facts, I'm Kelly Kendall for WXII 12 News.
Mother Nature's most violent storms. They're spawned by powerful severe thunderstorms. These tornadoes can cause fatalities and devastate neighborhoods in just seconds. They appear as rotating, cone-shaped clouds that extend from a thunderstorm to the ground with whirling winds that can reach over 200 miles per hour. Some tornadoes are clearly visible, while others are wrapped in rain or obscured by other low-hanging clouds. Tornadoes can develop quickly with little warning, so always stay alert during a tornado watch and act quickly should a tornado warning be issued.
We call it the Madhouse.
Contact already in turn one. Tonight we explore the history behind this one-of-a-kind track.
EDM, the energy, the vibe, you can't create this anywhere else.
What it means to the community.
Man, that's a massive pileup.
Its future and the people behind the madness.
You walk through the gate of this place, you've got a bullseye on your back.
Madness at the Madhouse. A WXII 12 Racing Return Special. Welcome to the historic Bowman Gray Stadium, home of the 2025 Clash. John Johnson alongside Chanel Porter and Kenny Beck. KB, this is a huge opportunity for the Campbell City.
It sure is, John. This is the first time in more than 50 years that NASCAR's Top Series has come to Bowman Gray Stadium. Over the next half hour, we're going to look at what exactly makes this place so special and what makes this race so significant.
Soon he went from concession worker to driver, scraping together $20 with a friend to buy his first car.
I've had a lot of great things to happen in my life, and a lot of it started with that old $20 race car and selling those peanuts and popcorn.
Richard Petty and Richard Childress, their Triad Racing royalty. They're thrilled to have the Cup Series back and proud to see their track continue to thrive.
There hasn't been a day since they announced it that I can even recall that someone, a fan or a customer at the winery or someone hadn't said, boy, we're glad to see you back at Bowman Gray Stadium, or that's going to be a madhouse, isn't it?
We grew up with Bowman Gray, or Bowman Gray grew up with us. So, again, it's like coming home.
They say everything's bigger in Texas.
The dream come true. I mean, all these moments have been dreams come true, you know.
The Duke Blue Devils' soaring season, now just hours away from a shot at a title.
Every decision we made, everything we did was to get back here.
Tonight, we look at the season so far, the players that made it happen, and the fans cheering them on.
I just love to watch them play.
Duke's Road to Glory begins now. Welcome to San Antonio, Texas, outside the Alamo Dome. John Johnson alongside Chanel Porter, where the journey for Duke is finally here. They're back in the Final Four, Chanel, with the chance to bring home that 6th national title. Thank you, Triad. We asked you to share your holiday.
And you answered the call to help our neighbors in need.
The Triad shows up and makes a difference for Share Your Holiday.
From the food brought to our drop-off sites
to the money raised by our community partners. Your donations will help provide over 2 million meals to local families.
We are all so thankful to join together and make a difference in our community.
Thank you for caring, and thank you for sharing your holiday.